Live from News and Information 570 AM, this is the Stenchfield Report.
Hey, I will tell you what, it was a big day in North Texas yesterday. One reason, the WWE was in town, WrestleMania. You know, I used to love WrestleMania. I used to love wrestling. I was a huge wrestling fan. And so we had the opportunity to talk to Linda McMahon, former CEO of the WWE, wife of Vince McMahon. And I want to welcome Linda to the program. Linda, thanks for coming on again.
Grant, good to be here.
Hey, so you set records out at Cowboy Stadium last night. What's the post-assessment?
You bet we did set records. We not only broke our own attendance record, we had 101,763 people in the AT&T Stadium. And that's also a record for them.
Yeah.
So over a $17 million gross. So that was a really successful night. And the best news is we delivered a great show, 4 hours of just nonstop action to fans on their feet cheering.
You know, my producer, Stoker Ace, was there. He said your son or your son-in-law fell like from the ceiling onto a table or something.
God bless, he didn't fall from the ceiling; he'd be dead. He did come off the top of a cage, which is 25 feet high, and trying to hit an opponent, but hey, the opponent rolled out of the way, so he hit a table instead. But he is fine. Now,
what are you thinking as mom watching that happen?
Nervous, and I'm standing next to his wife with my arm around her, and I have his 3 little boys in front of me. So as he goes off the top of that cage, I'm really hopeful that he's not going to be injured.
Well, I know for as much entertainment as it is, there was a recent article I read about all the injuries and that they really are athletes, these professional wrestlers, and what they go through. It really is amazing to watch, even just the skill level and what goes into it to make it all happen.
Oh, absolutely. They're some of the finest performers in the world athletically and from the entertainment perspective, but they are some of those finely conditioned athletes in the world. They have to be to do what they do night after night and do it live.
Hey, can I ask you what your assessment was of North Texas? I know you didn't just have the event at Cowboy Stadium, but also some events in Dallas and around the area. What did you think?
Well, it's been incredible to be here for our event and all the cooperation that we had from the Dallas Business Consortium. A lot of their funds came into bringing WWE to Dallas, and it was just a wonderful event. And I have to tell you, the Cowboy organization, Charlotte Jones Anderson, and working with the entire group was just phenomenal. They integrated us in a lot of their events, and we used the Cowboys and the cheerleaders in some of our events, so it was really terrific.
Well, no doubt about it. The Joneses certainly know how to put on a show here in Texas.
They really do. So it was a mutually good relationship, and we're looking forward to continuing to do other events with them.
All right, one more wrestling question for you. So I am an anti-politically correct guy. I think in America we get way too politically correct on a lot of things. And so my producer, Matt Stoker Ace, who was there last night, said you've changed the Women's Championship, which, by the way, he said was one of the best matches of the night. But you changed the name from the Diva Championship to the Women's Championship?
Yes, because we got a lot of input from our fans. The Divas, for some reason, had a negative connotation. And it didn't give full measure to the women athletes who are part of WWE. I mean, we have the men's championship. Why not the women's championship? And it used to be years ago the women's championship. And we went to Divas. It had a little catchier phrase to it. But we also do another program called Total Divas. And so, we didn't kind of want to mix that. So I think it's better now just to be the women's championship, WWE Women's Championship.
So was this the idea of the folks at WWE, or was this bowing to the pressures of the folks out there that get so upset about any little name that might be?
Well, I tell you, to get all those best answers to those questions, you need to talk to Stephanie McMahon, who's the Chief Brand Officer for WWE, and she could really fill you in on all of what's going on at WWE.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Linda McMahon ran for United States Senate a couple times, the Republican up in Connecticut, and so, Linda, I see you learned how to dodge questions like the great political elites there are that are out there.
Actually, that wasn't a dodge. It's just to get you need to get the most correct answers, and she would be the one to give them to you. I haven't been at WWE for a while. I was the former CEO, but I'm not there now on a day-to-day basis. So Stephanie really would have the best answers to those questions.
All right, fair enough. So on another note, at the same time all of this is going on, we actually have a convention going on in Dallas. It's called the Conference on Crimes Against Women, and there are hundreds of law enforcement officers that come in from around the country. I'm actually on the board of this event to get trained in investigating crimes against women, and I'm wearing a purple shirt now for domestic violence and awareness of that. You have a new organization called Women's Leadership Live, and it's all about promoting entrepreneurship among women, and maybe you could just tell me a little bit about it and why you felt the need to start that.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an organization I think that is going to really empower women. I have two partners with this, Stacy Shefflin, who has her own company, YBF Beauty, and Debbie Saviano from right here in Plano, Texas, who was a former school bus driver, teacher, principal, and when she retired from teaching, she wanted to, kind of transport herself into her next life, and she just totally immersed herself in social media. So we bring different disciplines. I, of course, ran a public company, built a brand and a business from the ground up, and we've all three started and built our own businesses. And what we've really found is that women thrive better in a community of support when they have mentors, when they really know how to do things better. And we want to make sure that they have the right tools if they want to be entrepreneurs, if they want to be leaders in their community, if they want to be in the nonprofit world, if they want to know how to take products to market. And we believe that we have the tools and the experience, the know-how to really guide and help women to be successful. And so this organization, Women's Leadership Live, Debbie and Stacy brought to me, it was their brainchild, and I really wasn't so much aware of the real need in the marketplace that women have, to have this community of support and these networking opportunities and the mentorships going forward. But as I became more and more aware, I just wanted in with these wonderful women because they had a great idea. And so we've launched Women's Leadership Live, and we have our first event, May 19th through the 22nd, here in Texas at the Omni Mandalay Hotel, Las Colinas in Irving, Texas. And it's a 3-day event that's just going to be dynamic. It's going to be headlined by one very dynamic woman you already know here in the Dallas area, Charlotte Jones Anderson, and my daughter, whom I could speak very proudly of, Stephanie McMahon. They both are the chief brand officer for their respective companies. Stephanie from WWE, Charlotte from the Dallas Cowboys, and they had very similar career paths. They're in male-dominated businesses. They have iconic fathers who are still at the head, and they're going to talk to you and tell you what it's like to be in a male-dominated business and tell you how to succeed and how you can really just how you can succeed in those businesses. And I think it's going to be very powerful for the women who attend. And I get to moderate these two powerful young women, and I think it's going to be so fun for me and so educational for the women who are there.
Well, it sounds like a terrific event. I know that's May 19th, and that facility out in Las Colinas is terrific, the Mandalay.
And what we need for you to do really is go to our website, which is womensleadershiplive.com, and click on the Prepare to Share Powerful event button and register for the event, because we only have 200 slots there. The registrations are filling up pretty quickly. We wanted to keep it small so we could have personal interaction with the people who are there. We have great speakers and great panels that are going to be part of the event. So we just encourage women who are listening, who are interested. You can't go to this if you want to invest in yourself, or if companies want to send some women from their organizations. We've got Bell Helicopter is our first gold sponsor.
It sounds like it's just going to be a terrific event, and I'm running a little bit short on time, so I want to ask you one last question to move back to the world of politics. We've got some primaries coming up in the Northeast. Connecticut, I believe, has a primary coming up. What's Connecticut going to do when it comes to the Republican side of things in this primary, Cruz versus Trump?
I have no idea.
None whatsoever.
I really have no idea how Connecticut is going to go in the primary. I mean, Connecticut is a very, very strong Democratic state. I know that from firsthand experience, having run for the Senate twice. I think Connecticut is no different from the rest of the country in just being, pretty split on its support. But I've really not seen polling in Connecticut as to how the primary race is going to go. So I think, tomorrow's Wisconsin, so we'll see how that goes.
Do you think Connecticut will ever see a Republican senator again?
Absolutely, but I think it's going to be a while. We're just continuing to make gains in the State House, and our governor that we have now has just done just not a very good job in helping businesses to stay. He's laid on a lot of heavy taxes, so I think there's an opportunity to change the State House, and then that moves towards more electing a U.S. senator that's a Republican.
Yeah, that's Governor Dan Malloy. I think he may be one of the biggest idiots of all governors out there. The only reason I thank a guy like Governor Dan Malloy is he basically institutes job programs for Texas because he's forcing a lot of companies to move down here.
Well, that's really true. There is recruitment of many companies to leave Connecticut and go to Florida, to come to Texas, to go to North Carolina, to Tennessee, and where there is greater job growth. And so that's one of the penalties that his administration is paying. But in the meantime, the state and the people of the state of Connecticut are the ones who are bearing the brunt of that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Linda McMahon, we so appreciate you coming on, former CEO of WWE, and now has her new event, Women's Leadership Live, May 19th, womensleadershiplive.com, correct?
Absolutely, and push that button for Prepare to Share Powerful event on the website and register now while the early bird special is in effect.
All right, Linda, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be back on your show. Look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. All right, I'm Grant Stinchfield. Let's go to Bill Jackson, KLF right now, Traffic Center.
Still need to get some stalled cars moved out of the way from 75 Central northbound at Campbell and Richardson, blocking the HOV lane, and in Allen, 635 eastbound.